So I spend way too much time on the internet, and most of it is spent on well-known socials such as YouTube. However, I'll change that today, because I'll go explore the deep ends of the internet, the ones forgotten for ages. Little did I know what was to come. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Internet Relay Chat, a text-based chat system used for instant messaging. It was first introduced back in 1988. That was 37 years ago. And basically from what I've gathered, it was Discord for the guys who owned computers back in that day. However, since the introduction of more convenient platforms of chatting, Internet Relay Chat has been left behind, only leaving a small community with it. And that is what interested me. Why are they even there? But before entering, I had to find a way to even access the channels. Since this isn't your typical social media, here you have to do everything manually. So I watched a bunch of videos on how to access these servers, downloaded a bunch of sketchy programs that even Windows themselves said not to download, and still nothing was working. Now I don't know if it was my dumbass doing something wrong, which is very probable, or if the servers were actually dead. So back to searching I went. And from an old Reddit post, I found a website where the most popular chats of IRC are listed. And after a bit of digging, I finally had access to the most popular one, libera.chat. Of course that wasn't it, so I had to fiddle a little bit more, but finally I was in. And instantly, a first message appeared. It was hard to even understand what was going on, to be honest, since the previous chats are not saved, and you have no way of seeing them as a newcomer. So naturally, I said my hellos and asked for help. And then I realized that this is not the chat where the action is happening, since it was a help channel. So off to the main chat I went. And once again, I wrote my hellos, and nothing. Yeah, it all seemed dead. At that time I thought that, well, that was that for this chat, but then someone replied, "Too dusk for dawn, the GOAT." Then I proceeded to explain my pathetic situation, looking for some guidance, but the guy said that he was new too, and that nothing was going on. Yeah, well, that wasn't promising at all. Maybe he was just another dweller like me. But then another character appeared, Tin Soldier. However, only later did I realize that Tin Soldier was just a bot. So I asked Dusk, the only other person in this chat at the time, what was he even doing here in this graveyard of a chat? And turns out he isn't that new at all. He already has friends here, and that is partly why he is still online. And he was surprised that I am new to IRC, probably since there aren't a lot of newcomers. But still, I was yet to fully understand why are they here. Now this is where stuff started picking up a bit. Another face appeared, T313131, and finally I got a glimpse to why people still use this system. Dusk said, "I get overstimulated by all the buzzes and whistles everything has. IRC is calm, which makes sense. Guys are here to chat, not to enjoy the flashy colors, sounds, or new interfaces that Discord, for instance, has to offer. It's truly a place where people connect purely to meet other personalities. And it feels refreshing chatting in a place where only plain text is appearing in real time, with no distractions. It almost feels like true communication." Also, the other guy, T313131, mentioned how Discord turned his computer fans on, so yeah, make of it as you will. Anyways, previously the bot had mentioned that there were puzzles happening in the chat, so I wanted to partake in such events. However, turns out it wasn't all that, the events are just ran by commands, so I proceeded to play a few rounds of trivia with the guys, but then we did some word and scrambling, and turns out they are way better than me. Also midway, two more people appeared, Metanova and Pavrota. Pavrota said something about the modern messengers using Electron, that's why he avoids it. But I'll keep it a buck, I have no clue on what Electron even is, and why should we avoid it. While for them it was another topic of discussion. And that is when I realized that this chat is mostly for programmers, to talk about different topics such as Linux, game dev, and many other projects, which I honestly don't know much about. And to be completely real, I started feeling like an outsider a bit. I didn't really understand what they were going on about. But still I stayed, I talked to them for like 20 more minutes, played with the commands that the bot has to offer, But yeah, that's when the chat started dying out again, and I realized that it was time to venture to another chat room, still considered internet relay chat. However, this is where shit really went steep. The chat is called UnderNet, and even the name sounds like it's something where shit happens. First off, there was no way of hiding my IP address in this one, so I had to just send it in hopes that all goes good. And after joining, I started adding the main chats to my channel, and to be honest, one of them was a mistake. I mean, curiosity got the most of me, and I may have clicked on a chat called By Married Men. Hell, maybe they were just talking about their life. Instantly, I got a DM from Ion Ku Capra, who was talking in some other language I didn't understand. And after translating his messages, turns out the guy was calling me an idiot and a pathetic little monkey. So yeah, that was a warm welcome, and overall every channel I joined seemed to be foreign and not in English, so even more did I feel that I don't belong here. And a minute or two of browsing later, there it was. Yeah, I think I'm sticking to platforms I know for now. Now in summary, IRC is somewhat like Discord. You will find a lot of communities there, something for everyone, and most of them are really niche and close. But step into the wrong part and the experience will be different. But yeah, honestly, I don't know what I expected going into that channel. Now, contrary to Discord, this platform doesn't have a lot of features. Now that may sound like a bad thing, but these guys see it another way around. They would much rather have a connection with a person behind the screen than some flashy imaging. And that is why people are here. It's people who really miss that genuine connection internet once had. And I suggest you give it a shot as well. Maybe you will find something just for you.